Hey guys, welcome to Farrah Show. My name is Farrah Guerrier. I am your host of Farrah Show. It is such a pleasure to see you tune in for another episode of Farrah Show. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Junie's Electronic in Spring Valley, New York. It is such a pleasure to see you, and I have a ton of information for you regarding refinancing your mortgage. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more info. In today's episode, we will be discussing refinancing your mortgage. A lot of people want to refinance, but yet they do not understand the terms of refinancing. They don't even know why do people refinance their home and is it good for them or not. We're also going to discuss about the no closing cost option. Also, they offer, different companies offer in refinancing your home. Today's episode was made possible to you thanks to our sponsor, Junie Electronics. It's a convenient stop for all your electronics. They have the top deals for the latest electronics, and they will even give you a crash course on how to use the equipment that you just purchased. They offer the best services in the community, from money transfer, hooking you up with the best company for your phone. They are available to you 7 days a week, and they are located at 73 South Central Avenue in Spring Valley. Go visit them. They will love to see you. There are a lot of reasons to consider refinancing your mortgage. One of them is to take the cash out. Another reason will be to change the term of your mortgage. And some people also do it to switch from the adjustable to the fixed mortgage rate. There are a lot of people out there that still have adjustable rate. Now, let me go through each of them so this way you can understand. Taking the cash out. A lot of people doesn't understand what, most people are looking to take the cash out, but yet they don't know what it means. Now, let me go step by step and explain to you what cash, how you can take the cash out, what that means. Let's just say that you purchased a home 5 years ago and you purchased it and you financed, you took a loan for $300,000. You owe the bank $300,000. You hire an appraiser to go and appraise your house. They look at your property, they look inside your property, they look in and out, they go up and down. Then they look at the property in the area, how much they're being sold for. Those are called comparables. So they're going to use those comparables and to tell you how much your house is worth based on the size of your home, how many bedrooms you have, the condition in your home. They come up with a number. Let's just say your house is worth, with the increase of value, your house is worth $550,000. Now you have a $250,000 equity on your home. $250,000 more than what you actually owe the bank. Now you want to refinance the house and you want to take the money out. Now that $250,000, the bank can make it available to you based on their rules. Some bank will let you take the whole 250. Some of them will say no, we need to keep your loan at 80%. So they will only allow you to take a portion of it. Let's just say they could tell you, well, being that we're going to have to do it at 80%, that means that we could refinance 400,000, and then you get only 100,000 out of that. I'm sorry, you will get $100,000 out of the 400,000. So the equity that you took out is 100,000. Those are just examples. Again, some bank would allow you to take the full equity. Rest assured, when you do that, they're going to have a private mortgage insurance on it. But for the sake of argument, let's just say they allow you to take the whole $250,000. Or some bank will say, no, we're only going to refinance 80% of the value of the house. So somewhere around 80% of 450,000 is what you're able to finance. So if your house is worth $500,000, again, if your house is worth $500,000, 80% of that means that you could only refinance $400,000. Now you have $300,000 that you have that you could pay the first loan. The other $100,000 is the equity that you took out. That's the cash that you took out. keep in mind, when you refinance, it's a brand new loan. It's not the loan that continues. It's a brand new loan. Now, there are costs affiliated with that. There are closing costs. Now, I'm going to touch that subject a little later on to explain to you how that works. There's a lot of company that tells you that there is no closing costs. I will explain to you what that means in a few minutes. Now, the other reason that people change their loan is because they want to refinance, is because they want to pay down the loan to a shorter term. If you feel that your finance changed, you're able to change things a bit, you are really in good standard, and you could pay your 30-year mortgage in 15 years, by all means, go ahead and refinance, provided that you have a good interest rate and you are able to make it happen. That is one thing. It's the best thing that you could ever have in life, when you're sitting at your home and you're enjoying your house and you have no mortgage and it's paid off a lot sooner than you anticipated. It's a most wonderful feeling. The other reason why people do change their loans and they want to refinance is because they have an adjustable rate where the payment are unstable. When you have an adjustable rate, you don't have a fixed rate. Your rate depends on the market. The other thing I want to touch on is the closing costs. Now, there is one thing I need to for you all to understand. There is no company out there that's going to do a fully no closing costs. Even though they say no closing costs, you have to understand what the term no closing costs mean. There's absolutely nothing for free, because everybody has costs. They're going to pass the costs on to you. Now, they give you options on how to carry the closing costs, either to the back of the loan, to incorporate it in the loan, or to pay through a higher interest rate. Any company that offer no closing costs, take a look at the amount that you're actually financing. It's either they're going to incorporate it in the loan, or they're going to ask you to pay it at the end of the loan, or you're going to pay a higher interest rate. That's how you pay the closing costs. Now, let me tell you what the closing costs are, because you have to understand why they charge you closing costs. You have to pay the originator fee. The originator fee is the fee that you pay the lender for processing your loan. They have staff. They have to get someone to work on your paperwork, to process your paperwork, to make sure everything is going through properly. You have to pay an appraiser to come to the house, to appraise your house, in order for them to know how much your house is worth. Usually the bank determines which appraiser is going to appraise your house. You don't do it yourself. They choose who they sending to your house. You get to pay it, but they choose. The other thing is the title fees. They have to record the deed. Now, every time you sell or buy a loan, you have to record the deed with the town that you, for instance, if you're in New York, the town of Hempstead, if you live in Long Island, depending where you live, you have to record the deed with the town. It's a document that shows that you're actually the owner of the property. On that deed it say how much you owe and so forth. Now, on top of that, you have to get title insurance. They have to run a report to find out, to make sure there's no lien on the house. They want to make sure there is no debt that's going against the house. Nobody put any what, how do I say, an amount owed against the house. That means if you owe somebody and they decide to put a lien on the house, that means when you're selling the house, you have to pay them first. The other thing is, they also also have to get the insurance, because what the insurance does, if, for instance, there's a lien on the house and the mortgage company, they did not detect it, and when you're ready to sell the house and then the loan the lien show up, they're liable for it. You're not liable for it, because they were the one who failed to investigate properly to make sure there's no lien on the house. Anything that was on the house they did not discover at the time of the research, anything prior to that investigation they did not discover, they're liable for it. So that insurance helps, it protects the bank and it protects you as the owner. If you taking a loan, let's just say that that's the money that you're actually borrowing is more than 80% of the value of the house, they're going to ask you to get a private mortgage insurance. The credit report they run for you, most of them will pass the cost on to you as well, because that's how they determine whether you will qualify, to see if you're paying the debts on time. They will pass that cost on to you. And not to mention discount points. If what you qualify was 5% and you want to bring the rate down, there's something called discount point. What they do is they charge you to bring the interest rate down. Usually that's about 1 to 2% depending on the mortgage company. Now, as far as the cost is concerned, of meaning the closing costs, if you buy a house, if you, let's just say you're financing, you're taking a loan for $150,000 and your closing costs run anywhere between 4 to 6% these days. Let's just say your loan is your closing cost is about $5,000 on a $150,000 loan. Take a look at the amount that you're financing. You getting $150,000, but the amount that you're financing is $155 because they told you no closing costs. That's no closing costs out of pocket, no closing costs up front. They would take that closing cost, incorporate it in the loan in order for you to qualify and make the loan possible. Again, there is no such thing as no closing costs. Refinancing, they either going to incorporate it in a loan, or they're going to put it in the back of the loan, or they're going to get it from the higher interest rate they will charge you. Now, again, before you choose an option, take a look at what's possible for you. Whether that payment is going to be durable for you, whether you're comfortable with the fact that you're going to go with a no closing cost, or whether you prefer to pay the closing costs up front and still keep your payments at a low cost. Determine which one is best for you and proceed. It is a pleasure to see you again. Thank you for watching. Until the next one.